So I know we've been here for a while, but we're keeping the same energy. I need you to put your hands together as we welcome to the stage Miss Tina Bonner. Tina, hold on, Tina. That ain't enough. That ain't enough, Tina. Y'all got a Tina said 1 million people of color by 2025. So I need that kind of energy to welcome Miss Tina to the stage.
Hello. Can y'all give it back to the home? She's amazing, y'all. I appreciate it. But this is what we really have to do. Can we please give it back to Michelle? Where's Michelle? Where's she at? I don't know where Michelle is. We gotta clap louder than that. Yes. She has done an amazing job putting this together. Like the fact that we're all here, we're getting these gems, we're getting this knowledge. Like to have a visionary that says, I'm gonna pull these people together in a row, make sure they get these gems. Gotta give it back to Michelle for what she's doing with the Marketing Association. So without further ado, I am super excited to be here. How many of y'all heard about the Metaverse before? Just put your hand up. Okay, good. All right, so we're gonna take y'all through a little trivia, what you really know about the Metaverse. But as our host said, right, my story, very simply, the reason why we started Black and Meta was because we had a lack of representation, right? Fast forward, rewind rather, about a year ago, when all of this stuff was budding and happening, we were trying to figure it out. I was literally in my house, in my home office, and trying to figure out this Metaverse piece. And only place that I could find information was on TikTok, YouTube, piecing stuff together, and they were by white teenage boys that looked nothing like me, right? Like I'm trying to learn from them, and that's no problem. The challenge was there was a disconnect on how they were speaking. There was a disconnect on the use cases that were shared, our experiences, and even the vision and future that I see for my life, right? And so I said, well, let me start to see if there's some Black creators out there so I can learn and understand the way that I understand best. Couldn't find it. So guess what God said? You're gonna build it. So here we are. Fast forward, because I truly believe after diving deep into this, that the Metaverse is not only just a pathway to wealth, but it's truly the next generation, the next iteration of the internet. And guess what happens? Typically with Black and brown folks, we wait to the end, right? We wait to the end. We wait to the end, or we wait until after, and we become what we call late adopters. When we become late adopters, the money is already grabbed, the real estate is already grabbed, right? The space is already acquired, and now we're trying to wiggle our way through. Not with Black and Meta. This time, we're here to help you get in on the front end. Does that make sense? Does that good? Yes? So here's one little trivia. If you know the answer, don't shout it out. I'm just gonna say yes or no. I want to see the by show of hands. So is the Metaverse owned by the company Meta? If you think yes, put your hand up. Okay. Okay, good. Y'all are smart, right? So the company Meta, right, has trademarked and coined the name Meta, but it's not the Metaverse. And I really want to set the stage with that because there's this confusion, rather, that the Metaverse is owned by Meta, but it's not. So you guys got that one right. Here's the next one. Is there more than one Metaverse? If you think yes, hand up. Okay, if you think no, hand up. All right, here's the thing. There is only one Metaverse. I want you to make that mindset shift right now because it's important that we understand. Here's the thing. Black and brown people, once we get it, we got it. We're magic, right? Once we understand the fundamentals, then we can take off. We can rock it. But we got to understand. So first I need you to get some fundamentals right? There's only one Metaverse. Right now, I want to give you an example so you can understand this. When you talk about the internet, we don't say there's multiple internets, right? There's one internet, and there's all these multiple apps that sit in the internet. Got it? I see some light bulbs going off in your heads. So this is how the Metaverse is. So think of it like there's multiple apps, there's multiple platforms, i.e. on the internet, you have YouTube, Instagram, Twitter, social media, different platforms. And then you also have e-commerce platforms, right? You've got Shopify, Wix. These are platforms that sit where? On the internet. There you go. So now we're just moving to a third iteration of the internet, where now it's the Metaverse, and these apps and platforms, etc., are building in the Metaverse. Right? Say in the Metaverse. In the Metaverse. So here's this. I want to kind of level set for you what's happening and why this is so powerful right now. Meta changed their name, right? As we know, formerly Facebook, changed their name back in November of 2021. This is 2022. They just changed their name. Furthermore, they just launched their Metaverse app December 2021. It's not even December 2022 yet. You are 6 months ahead. So imagine me having this conversation with you about Instagram, right? 6 months in. Where would you be now? Creating content, like my guys Monty said, and Mr. Worthy said, have you done that much content for a decade? How many of you all think you would be a little bit better positioned, right? That's the conversation we're having right now. And that's how ahead I want you to know you are. Does that make sense? All right, here's the next one. You can only enter the metaverse if you have a VR headset. You think that's true? Hands up. Okay. You think it's false? Hands up. No, it's split. Wow. So glad you're getting this information. It is false. You can enter the metaverse through various vehicles. So the VR headset is just a technology, right? It's just a hardware piece to be able to enter the metaverse. So think of it like this. If you want to access the internet, can you use more than one device? Yes. Metaverse, same way. So you can access the metaverse via iPhone, right? There are apps that actually are on your iPhone. You can access the metaverse via iPad. You can access the metaverse, of course, via virtual reality headset. The difference here, and I want you to write this down, the word is immersion. Level of immersion. That's what changes. And so when you think about levels of immersion, what I want you to get is that a basic level of immersion, right, is where there's no, or very little, let me say it that way, very little senses involved. So when you're scrolling on your phone, right, your whole auditory body senses, all of that is not included. When you put this in, this is what we call a high level of immersion. Y'all seen in TikToks, people falling over, hitting the wall? Why? Because their entire senses, their entire body is encapsulated in this, right? We've got sight, we've got hearing, and we've also got touch and feeling when you put the controllers on your hands. So when that happens, it's just the difference is the level of immersion, okay? But we can access the metaverse via various technologies. Is this helpful so far? Getting good? All right, so what the heck is the metaverse, right? What the heck is the metaverse? The metaverse is simply this. It's the next iteration of how you will experience the internet. That's it. Write that down so you can get it. Put it in your iPhone. It's the next iteration in which we experience the internet, right? So everything that we do on the internet, social media, connect, transact, right? Build, create, we're just going to be doing those other things in a more immersive setting, all right? So let me show you an example of what I mean by immersive setting. So this is some screenshots I pulled of us in the metaverse. And you'll see on this left side, this is actually me at a live podcast right here inside of the metaverse. So I used my virtual reality headset this day to get in. One of my homeboys was like, hey, I'm having a live podcast recording in the metaverse. Right? It's happening tonight at 8 o'clock. We have an after party and everything. Right? So I put my headset on from the comfort of my home, and I'm now inside the metaverse, but you can see all of us there. We're having a live conversation. Right? Make sense? Move over here. We actually went to a party. This is the after party. So we're like, y'all, I'm in my pajamas at the after party listening to trap music, right? Like, that's how dope this was. But you can see our Black and Meta logo. I'll get to advertising in a second. But you can see our Black and Meta logo there. And of course, Danielle's on the side. She'll be up here in a second. Right? But also, I want you to see on this side, the representation. This is advertising. This is placement. These are the things that are happening in the metaverse. This is a real place that you can go and you can navigate, right? So let's jump down here. This is, again, another place where we're actually hanging out. These two women, never met them in my life. I put a headset on and I'm teleported to a place where we can connect, we can build, and do all of the things right in the metaverse. Imagine going to this conference in the metaverse and we can do it every weekend. Look around. Look at all the beautiful faces, the energy that you got today, right? Somebody that you're connected with today. And we can do that by simply putting on this headset or logging into the computer. That's what happens. That's the power of the metaverse and why this is so powerful. The last thing here, this is a completely different platform, and this is actually my metaverse office. And you can see I've got one of my NFTs that I purchased here that is in the center, and I've got my Black and Meta logo, I've got my NYP logo, and just two of the pictures there that are vision. Just what I love. I love traveling and I love speaking. And when I bring clients in, we go to my metaverse office. No Zoom. I don't have to have my hair done. Definitely don't got my face beat. But my avatar looks good. And she's fly. She got a haircut all the time. Right? That's the power of the metaverse. And so I'm sharing this because just as much as you can impact somebody, right, by pulling up your social media and doing all the things, you can do the same things inside of the metaverse, but it's that much more potent. It's that much more exciting. So we talked about live streaming, right, in the previous session, and they did an incredible job talking about this one-to-one experience that you can have. But what happens when you have the one-to-one experience? experience, and I can reach out my hand in the virtual headset and feel the shaking of the hand by the client that I'm talking to, simply because of the haptics and how the technology is set up with the headset. How much more is the connection then? Right? So now we're not on Zoom and I'm just looking at you. I can see you, feel you, and touch you simply because we meet in this Metaverse office. Y'all get this? Right? So here's the thing. All Metaverse apps are not created equal. Write that down. All Metaverse apps are not created equal. And that's really important for you to understand. So as you leave this session today and do your homework, you can understand and start to figure out which Metaverse platform works best for me. What do I mean by that? Well, when you think about social media, you think about Web 2, some of us don't like getting on screen, so YouTube doesn't work for us, right? Instagram, or maybe we like to be more vocal, so Twitter is our platform of choice, right? Or maybe we like to share pictures and we love getting dressed up, so Instagram is our platform of choice. So what's important, and here's your homework, I need you to figure out what is your Metaverse platform fit? Write that down. What is your platform fit? Which means which platform fits best for you. And that's based upon who you are, that's based upon your skill sets, that's based upon how you like to show up in this world. There's some Metaverse apps where you can't really customize so much of your avatar, right? For someone who really likes to express themselves, or a big way that they express who they are and they walk in is through their clothing or through how their style is, you may not want to pick that Metaverse platform, right? That's a lot. That could be a lot for someone. So you want to start to think about all of these things. But the whole idea here is that not all Metaverse apps are created equal, and you got to figure out what your platform fit is. So here's the 3 words I want you to write down: connectivity, immersion. My favorite. Y'all say this last one. Say new money. Y'all know what I want. You say new money. New money. So this is what we're talking about with the Metaverse. Connectivity on a whole nother wave, right? The ability to be able to meet your clients inside of a virtual office. And they can actually feel you and sense you and hear you, right? Without you having to be there in person. There's now times where I go inside of Spatial Park, which is actually a Metaverse app. It's called Spatial, if you want to write down. I go inside of Spatial Park and I run into people in Germany, Brazil, Indonesia, places I've never been before that are not just potential clients, but potential friends that I can go now and connect with in all these different spaces. This is the power of the Metaverse. Geographical lines are eliminated, right? Just like that. So I want you to start to see this, is that the connectivity is on a whole other wave. This is metrics way bigger than just someone liking your picture on Instagram or following you on Instagram, right? They're not just following you, they're interacting with you. Not to mention with connectivity, we can start to understand that the first iteration of the internet, read and write. How many of y'all remember AOL? Dial-up. Look, don't pull out that cord while you're on the phone, right? Don't do that. That's dial-up. It's Ethernet, right? Fast forward, Web 2, social media apps. These are things that we have now. E-commerce, marketing. That's like scrolling in your website or on your website, right? Scrolling on the website. What do we do now? We scroll, we look, we type. We're on the phone. On the phone. Keyword. On the phone. Version 3, you're in the phone. Let that sink in for a second. So version 3 of the Metaverse, you're now in your website. So now, all of the communication that we're trying to have with these potential clients, we say, hey, yeah, go check out my website. What if they could go check in your website, right? And the things that you experience and the passion that you have for your business and the things that you are excited about, you can be able to experience and showcase to someone simply because they're in your world or in your website and you can navigate. I want to pause for a second really quickly, and it's really important for you all to know this. As you all are professionals, I want you to start to think about you not just doing this, but who do you need to hire? Who do you need to hire to start to manage some of this stuff for you all? In 2012, Social Media Manager did not exist. Let that sink in. In 2012, Social Media Manager was not a job on LinkedIn. Fast forward to 2026, Metaverse World Manager is going to be the number one, if not, I'll just say one of the number one, right? One of the number one jobs that people are going to be looking for. So even as you start to diversify yourselves and your services, I need you to not just think about, man, Tina, I'm overwhelmed. How am I going to create all of this stuff? It's not just about what you need to create. It's about you getting the vision to see how you can also staff your life to create these things. Make sense? All right, so let's keep going. How do you access it? We talked about this, so I'm gonna skip this, but how can you monetize it? I think that's the part that we really want to get to, right? So we understand, okay, now I know I don't have to have a virtual reality headset. I understand that I can access in different ways. I understand that geographical barriers, right, are eliminated. So how do I make this work for me? How do I monetize it? Here it is. Number one, I want you to write this down. Digital replicas. Digital replicas. And what this means is that you can actually create a digital replica of any building or anything inside of the metaverse. Prime example, I'll give you this one. There's a young lady right now, her name is B. Aromasin. I'm probably sure Danielle will talk more about this when she comes up. B. Aromasin. And she's been on social media, I won't even say young lady, because I think she's actually a baby boomer, so I think she's in her 50s or so. And she's part of our Black and Meta community. She said that she's been on Instagram for the last 3 years trying to sell her natural hair care products. Instead, she said, I'm going to make a digital store, a replica of a store inside of the metaverse, and I'm going to have store hours where my avatar, me, I'm in there from this time to this time, and just see if people will stumble upon it. She has told us that she has gotten more business just being in her metaverse store because she's not trying to fight the algorithm. She's not trying to figure out what content to post. She's not trying to figure out what partnerships or people to collaborate. People are literally just walking in her store. She greets them. She says what she does. She has the replica of the products inside of the metaverse. They take their headset off and go purchase right there. This is powerful stuff when you're talking about a brand new access of people that you can have by simply having digital replicas of your product. Now, if you don't have a product, it's okay. You can also have a digital replica of your office, right? What happens when people can stumble upon the office that you have, or what you build, or maybe even your podcast studio inside of the metaverse? This is how powerful this is. All right, here's the number 2. In-world services. Write this down. So when we say in-world, what we mean by that is inside the metaverse. So in-world services, how many of you right now are consultants, right? Where you share coaching or teaching. How cool would it be to be able to consult with somebody as your avatar from your bedroom in your PJs and get paid the same amount? Those got our hand way up. That's what's happening. That's in-world services. So that's being able to take the services that you have and offer them to people, not just in Atlanta, not just in the East Coast, not just in the United States, but internationally. You put this headset, you are now an international global business. That's how this works. That's how powerful this is. So we've been trying to get overseas and build these businesses, put the headset on, and now put on your LinkedIn, International Global Consultant. How does that sound? Good? Yes. That's how this works, because that's what it means. And so I want you to start to consider, how can I create my services, or how can I offer my services? We're working with someone right now who's a therapist, who's going to be able to deliver her consulting and her services, therapy inside of the metaverse, through her avatar, right? And just because she can do it that way, like how many more people can she reach that are maybe just scared to pick up the phone and come in person, or scared to put the Zoom screen on? So I want you to put your thinking cap on and figure out what can you do and how can you offer your services to people all across the world, okay? Here's the last one, advertising. Now we're all marketing professionals, which means that we understand advertising. So I want you to get in position to think about it like this. It's not just about you advertising your own business, but you can be able to even broker deals because you now are equipped with the information of being able to help other people advertise. You can add that to your services where when you say, hey, when I consult with you or XYZ, we actually have an add-on where we can be able to advertise the thing that you're doing inside of the metaverse. And simply because you know the information, you can. So I want you to start to see advertising not just about you advertising your business, right, but also seeing it as a way to add that to your service offering, right, if you are a marketing consultant or marketing professional. But advertising is huge. Right now, brands are scrambling to try to figure out, how do we get in the metaverse? What do we do? Y'all are brilliant, y'all are smart, and hopefully now you have the information to know they're willing to pay top dollar. I'll give you a prime example. Here's another metaverse app that you can research to figure out if this is your platform fit. Decentraland. Decentraland, write that down. Decentraland. And Decentraland, they recently just opened up an Absolute House in partnership with Coachella. Right? Coachella just passed, but the point was is that they wanted to be able to access all of the people that were going to go to Coachella Maybe they try to get people to drink Absolute again. The point is that they were able to use that partnership to build a space in the metaverse, and everyone who either had the Coachella ticket or just searched Coachella or was interested ran across the Coachella house sponsored by Absolute. You see how this works? So I want you all to start to think about these. These are just some